What is up, guys? Good morning. Welcome back. Good evening. Good afternoon. Today, thumbnail might give it away, but we are headed to look at a new daily driver for the shop for me. Not sure if I gave away what it is in the thumbnail, but it's really not planning to be a shop project because you guys know we have plenty of those already. First of all, sending ghost keyring orders out and a few other things, but I've been daily driving the OBS for months now. The 924S, since April when I finished it, has been kind of like a daily driver, but it gets hot here in Chattanooga and the AC isn't working in that car. So hot days, drove the OBS because the air conditioning is ice cold in the OBS. And now that the giveaway's over and we're actually prepping to leave when you guys are seeing this in just a few days, cross country to Arizona in this thing, to give it to the giveaway winner, I haven't been driving that much, just enough to keep its legs stretched and somewhat ready for the cross country drive. So that being said, driving my 7.3 Power Stroke long bed OBS every day is not ideal, really. I love driving this truck, but we're gonna go look at a car that I've kind of secretly always liked. Might not be that exciting to you guys. It is just going to be a daily. You guys know as well as I do, we probably won't be able to help ourselves, but lower it and put it on wheels probably. But it's about 2 hours away. It's down near Atlanta. So I'm running some errands. We're gonna hit the road. All right, guys, we are officially in a new daily driver. We'll talk about it a little bit more tomorrow in the daylight, but we're cruising home, I-75, 80 miles an hour, no problems, AC, heat. This thing is sick. All right, guys, we are home with the new daily driver. Been a while since I've been in a Mercedes, although it's kind of only really been a year. If you're on the channel, you know that we did a 1968 W108 Mercedes last year, a one-owner car from California, but that was more or less just a project. We bagged it, we did wheels, cleaned it up, took it to Helen for Alpine Volks Fair, and then kind of immediately sold it. But throughout the years, I've had a whole bunch of vintage Mercedes. My first one I ever purchased was a 69 W108, non-headrest, no defroster line in the rear window car. The next one I purchased was the first car I ever bagged, a 1960 220 SB W111 with the full chrome package, hydraulic transmission, which was a manual 4-speed on the column with no foot clutch. It had this crazy fluid coupler in the bell housing that acted like a torque converter, and it was basically like Mercedes' version of an auto stick, where the fluid coupler allowed you to come to a stop in gear, and basically pushing the shifter in created an electronic signal to an electronic control module under the hood that operated a vacuum diaphragm that operated a mechanical linkage down to your slave cylinder on a manual gearbox. And then all the magic happened inside the fluid coupler, where late 1950s German astronomer engineering kind of took place, and all this magic happened, and somehow everything worked. From there, I purchased another 1960 W111 as a parts car. That was a hydraulic foot clutch actuated 4-speed on the column, which I swapped into my brown car to basically have reliability and be able to drive it without having to worry about this hydraulic system, which no parts were available for anymore. And that ultimately was the first car I ever bagged. So that one held like a pretty special place in my heart. Mercedes Enthusiast magazine featured that car. And after selling that car, I kind of had a real itch for vintage Mercedes. So after selling the brown car and the white parts car, I think my next Mercedes was the 190, and we bagged that car as well. That was before any kits were available. This was a manual gearbox, 2.3 first year 190E, US market car, but I did Euro lights, and that was a really fun car because that was the second car. Nope, it wasn't. The Corvair was. Yeah, the Corvair was the second car I ever bagged. Man, there's been so many cars since then. From there, we had a W124 sedan. That was super fun. Eurolights in that as well. That was a pre-facelift, so that received Eurolights. US market and Eurolights were different on the pre-facelift 124 bodies. Once they went to the facelift, the hood ornament or the hood mascot got moved from the top of the grille back onto the hood, and then they received a world market headlight. So they kind of looked like a Euro market light. It was just one piece glass rather than the separate sealed beam headlight and parking light combination that we received here in the States. Went to a C124 coupe after that, didn't have that for long. Then bought a 1972 W109 with the Autobahn air suspension in it. That car was the 4.5 V8. That ended up going to England, where it's been passed around from a few friends of mine, like friend to friend to friend. So that car still exists and still makes its round at car shows in the United Kingdom, so that's pretty cool. And I think there's a few more I'm missing. What I'm getting at is I have been a Mercedes enthusiast for a very long time. And I've always kind of wanted to have one in the stable at one point or another, whether or not it's a project car that is like really old and it's a Sunday driver, something that we're heavily modifying here in the shop, or simply a daily driver. And we finally filled the gap. And it's with a platform car I haven't owned before. What's really cool about this car is it's a Georgia car. It's lived in Georgia its whole life. Basically been dealership maintained its whole life by Mercedes dealerships. And that really speaks volumes for this car by looking at the Carfax and looking at all of the servicing it's had. It's been in a Mercedes dealership handled by Mercedes techs. It's got 200,000 miles on it and you would never know. I'm from New Hampshire, and New Hampshire is very much in the middle of the salt belt. We just destroy our cars with salt in the winters. And the W210s, and even their predecessor, the 202s, suffered immensely from salt. I mean, these cars just rotted from the center of the car down. Floors obviously got rot, inner fender wells got rot, rockers and sills rotted away to nothing. But notably, when I visualize a 202 or a 210, the center body line right here in the doors just accumulated salt, grime, and water and just rotted it out from the center. I mean, it was just like blisters all the way down the middle of these body lines. To be from New Hampshire and live in the South now, I appreciate it so, so much because there isn't a rust blister anywhere on this car. It is solid. There's hardly a dent anywhere in this car. There's some small little stuff here and there and some panels that some PDR work would take care of, no problem. But this car does not look like it has 200,000 miles on it, inside and out. It's never been smoked in. Everything still works. If I had it my way and budget wasn't an issue right now, it would be an E55 AMG W210 sitting here in front of us today. But I really just needed a daily. I didn't need another project. We've got plenty of projects here in the shop, and there's something else coming in the next month that we're gonna talk about that I'm super excited about. We're not gonna bunny trail, but I got my hands full here in the shop. Unfortunately, this is not the OM606 diesel. I would love to have that motor in this car. That's one of my favorite Mercedes motors. This is the M112 V6, and the transmission shifts very, very strong. It's had a transmission service, and we drove it 2.5 hours home, hammered up 75 with the cruise control at 80. AC works, heat works, everything works inside it. The V6 isn't a motor I know well, but the engine bay in this car does not reflect 209,000 miles. Just the hood liner, look at the hood liner. This reflects like a sub 100,000 mile car. So a little backstory on the W210 Mercedes. This chassis was developed and manufactured from 1996 to 2003. And although it does boast a bold new look from the W202 to this futuristic looking car, they started designing and developing this car in 1988, which was only a couple years after the W124 came out, which is crazy because the W124 is two chassis predecessor to the W210. So it's crazy that Mercedes was looking so far out, almost skipping the W202 generation design and already working on this car, which ultimately was available on lots in 1996. I do like the facelift W210 because they changed a lot of things on the car. They changed everything on the lower part of the car. Bumpers changed, sill and body lines changed. On the inside, they facelifted quite a bit of the interior as well. Notably, when you first sit in the car, They changed the instrument cluster and gave you a multi-function digital readout screen underneath the speedometer. This was the first year of the facelift W210. You got steering wheel controls here, your cruise control up and down. You can cycle through your multi-function center, and you've got telephone controls on the steering wheel as well. You know, I just noticed that here in the shop now we have a BMW. Yeah, it's a Chevy, but as far as German cars go, we got a BMW. We've basically got an Audi, because this is pre-Audi. Auto Union, but you know, it's Audi. So we've got a BMW, we've got an Audi, kind of. For a short time left, we have the Porsche, and now we've got a Mercedes. So in my opinion, we have like the power four German automotive manufacturers here in the shop. Mercedes, Porsche, BMW, Audi. So cool. We don't have a Volkswagen, but Kayla's got a GTI, so I guess that kind of brings in like the top 5 German automotive manufacturers. So aside from being incredibly rust-free, I mean, look at the condition of everything. Never smoked in. Door cards, interior, everything's in great shape. I mean, just everything. Look at in here, guys. I mean, if you're from the Northeast like I am, this is incredible. Corners of the doors, up in here in the jams. Insane. Here's the coolest part of the whole car, right here. You guys might know where this is going. Look at that. The original cell phone. How nuts. Get it unplugged here. Look at this, guys. The original Motorola Mercedes flip phone. How cool. This thing is amazing. This I thought was so cool. I mean, this is how original and well kept this car is that everything is still in it. And underneath the phone case or phone cubby is, you guessed it, heated and chilled compartment. All right, guys, we're gonna take this thing for a spin. I gotta run some errands anyway. Got some signs that I've laser cut and laser engraved for Vibrant Performance for SEMA. We're not taking those with us on the road trip to Vegas, but I gotta mail them out today. Transmission is super responsive, which is great for the mileage. I was afraid it was gonna be more of a slosh box at this point. Man, these things are just so smooth. Immediate shifts. Thing just shifts so well. I think the right V6s sound good, and I think this M112 might be the right V6. You guys know where we're going at 3 in the afternoon. Every day. Well, not every day. Well, guys, that's gonna do it for this episode. New car in the fleet, in the stable. Yeah, we're definitely not gonna leave it stock. You know, we gotta get it down closer to the ground. We gotta do wheels. That's definitely coming. Don't know if we're gonna do coils or air. You know, our good friends at Bag Riders are always there when we need something. So do we bag it? Do we put it on coilovers? Because they do make coilovers for this car. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Let me know what you think of the W210, and let me know if we should do coilovers. Something simple, just bolt coilovers in, set it and forget it, do wheels, or if we should bag it. I don't know. I like the idea of doing something on coils because it's just easier install. but we could make a cool little series out of it. Bagging the 210, working with bag riders. We can actually work with bag riders on coilovers too. Don't forget that. They carry BC and D2 coilovers. Use your code Ludwix10 at checkout to save on anything you guys want to buy at Bag Riders. I need to remember to plug that because I never do. So Ludwix10 at checkout at bagriders.com for anything you guys need. But let me know what you guys think. Coils or bags? Down in the comments below. Leave it. This will be a fun project and a fun daily. Super comfortable, like you're riding on air already, like you're driving your living room sofa. Thank you guys for coming along and for all of the support. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If you guys haven't hit the subscribe button yet, just do it. It helps the channel grow in a huge, huge way. But from here, we are hard focused on the 924S. We leave in 1 week. As I'm filming this, it's Wednesday. We leave next week, Wednesday, the 25th, for Dallas on our way to Phoenix, Arizona to deliver the 924S to the giveaway winner, Aoife Malone. We're gonna be doing a pop-up meet at BMP Tuning the 25th, next Wednesday night, probably around 6 p.m. So make sure to come out for that. I'll have the 924S t-shirts with me. I'll have the 924S cross-country keyrings that I've made here with me as well. Hope to see you guys there. We'll be doing Phoenix pop-up meet Saturday night, the 28th, but make sure to subscribe here and follow me on Instagram where I'll have all of that stuff very, very soon. We got 1 week to prep for this cross-country drive in this car, and then it's on the SEMA. So I really hope I get a chance to see some of you guys in Dallas, Phoenix, and at SEMA. But until then, I hope to see you here in the next episode.